Oklahoma, huddle up. It's time to go inside the high school huddle on Hot 93.7 FM and streaming worldwide on GuthrieSportsPage.com. The high school huddle will take you where you want to go with coaches, players, your phone calls, texts, and tweets. Join the huddle and let's talk high school sports.
Yes, let's talk high school sports. Welcome to the high school huddle here on Hot 93.7 FM. KSBI, alongside Jordan Leach in our Stillwater studio. Phil Nichols, Chris Evans with you as we get set for week one of the high school football season. And we talked about it on Friday night as we broadcast Guthrie high school football games. And just so great to be back talking sports and seeing sports all over the place.
It is great. Everybody needs this right now. I think last Friday was the first game of the year for us to call on Friday nights. I think everybody was just genuinely happy, to be out there doing it again. So we're taking her one day at a time around here, I think, like everybody. And but yeah, this is big time, just being back on there, being able to talk to Jordan again,
yes.
Producer back at the station, and it's just good. It feels normal.
Absolutely, and it's there's still obviously the big talk is the COVID and was it going to happen, and the OSA having meetings over the summertime, and it was a 7-6 vote on summer to go on like summer as normal as all summers are. So most schools were able to have their summer practices, and of course there was no spring practices. So you always feel, we saw Shawnee last week, and they hire a coach and then you don't have spring football, then you have a lot of summer football that's canceled, and there's a lot of new coaches out there, and so they're kind of behind. Everyone's behind the 8 ball as it's already with COVID, but then for these new coaches, especially with the young teams, it's really behind the 8 ball.
Yeah, and and this is not for all the reasons you said, this isn't a swipe at Shawnee, but you could tell conditioning wasn't there. You could tell with new coaches. New head coach, new coaching staff, and I think they met for the first time in late June. I think is what we were told. There's a lot of hay to get in the barn, as Kelly Beebe likes to say here in Guthrie. From late June to a late August kickoff, for a new staff and everything. But Shawnee's got some real athletes on there that I think hopefully they'll get on track and those kids will have some success. But there's just a lot of craziness all the way around. And
I think that craziness will stay around for a while. I know the OSA is starting to look a little bit ahead, not too far ahead, into winter sports and what that will look like. Of course, there's so much stuff in front of that. But, a lot of teams unable to play some football games due to COVID numbers. Edmond North, for the second time in 2 weeks, will not be able to play a football game. Yeah. And so there's other lists of player or games not being played. In fact, came down today that Norman North will not play. Cases in Norman has I don't know if it's been canceled or postponed, but there's some games being moved to Saturday, some games just completely canceled. And we look at it last week. Enid was going to host Putnam City for their first game of the year, and Putnam City goes, you know what? Garfield County
is orange.
It's a hotbed. Right. We're not going up there. Yeah. And so that left,
And how does that work? When that happens, it's not a loss for either team, correct?
Well, it does help that it's non-district.
Right.
So it's non-district.
Okay,
so
let's say it gets into district play. How will that be handled? If that scenario happens and it's a district game, how would that go down?
The first scenario is you want to try to schedule that game somehow if you can.
Okay.
If not, then it comes down to and that's the most important part is the district games. Is they will take a look at that scenario. I think it comes down to points and percentages since they didn't play.
But it's not an automatic loss.
Correct.
For either team, right?
No.
Okay.
So that's and there's going to be a lot of that going back and forth. Another example: Western Heights High School canceled all their scrimmages, canceled their non-district games, and then they said once it comes to district play, we'll take it week by week by week. So, you talk about Western Heights, who has struggled for wins in the past, and now they're not going to play until possibly week 4 for their first game of the year. So now they're trying to get out there and play against Carl Albert, McGinnis, Piedmont, who's already had 3 or 4 games underneath them. So,
well, and I think I saw their superintendent on the news this morning, Western Heights, what I'm referring to, and he's not short of opinions.
Yeah.
To say the least. He's not afraid to state his cause. He called out the Oklahoma Education Association, I think about 22 times in about a 3-minute.
I missed it.
Oh, boy. It brought my educator wife out of the bathroom and said, "Who's this?"
Uh-huh.
And I was like, Western Heights superintendent. But
doesn't believe that we should be playing football? That was his?
Well, he was just no, it really didn't have anything to do with sports. It just had to do with the overall. The reporter was saying, we've gotten reports from the OEA that this is happening. He's going, well, I think this is a quote. You need to take everything from the OEA with a grain of salt. That was one of his comments.
Okay.
I mean, so I told Tanya, I said, well, his phone's going to ring off the hook all day. So and we get it. There's a lot of moving parts for everybody. Everybody has opinions. Everybody has their own beliefs. Everybody, all the stuff. And I, it's not my place to tell somebody how they should feel or how they shouldn't feel about anything right now. It's none of our places, but I think we can all agree it's just been a little crazy, and I don't see it lessening anytime soon.
No, it's just going. It's it's going to happen. It's going to happen, and just hope it. Able control. But Edmond North. I mentioned Edmond North having to play. They were supposed to play Edmond Memorial in a big game.
Yeah,
and rivalry game, and that's And Edmond North was supposed to play Deer Creek last week, Edmond Memorial this week, so they're not going to be able to get to play till maybe as early as next week. But there's several games that have been canceled. Looking at them, most of them. Parkins Tryon, by the way, not too far up the road from our Stillwater radio station, they were supposed to play last week and this week, and that will not be able to play as well. Tecumseh will be playing at Fort Gibson, but there's just a list of games. Most of them are smaller schools for the most part, except for Norman North, and the Edmond North, Edmond Memorial. Yukon and Mustang will actually play on Saturday, and Jones and Tulsa Lincoln Christian will also that has been postponed to week 3. So you look at Enid last week after Pump City said, you know what, we're not going up there. Enid got on the phone like all teams will. Like when someone cancels, they're got to find a game, hopefully. Enid calls Medill, a 3A school, and Medill says, okay, we'll play you, but you got to come to our place. And so Enid had game plan for Pump City, had all this stuff out here.
Who won?
Enid got by 63-0. Enid has like 110 kids on the roster.
Medill's got 22.
In the program, and I think Medill actually had about 45. But
I just noticed on your screen there, Western Heights at U.S. Grant obviously has been canceled, but U.S. Grant will play at McLeod.
Yes.
So I see what you're talking about, and that's good. I mean, if they can get a game, that's good.
Yeah.
I think all the kids would say, I just want to play.
Exactly. And you got to play. OSSA's their main things is try to get all your district games in and don't play more than 10 games. And that's their main thing there. And so the other equation in this deal is we were so fortunate last year to produce/call the high school state championship games last year at University of Central Oklahoma. Well, UCO's not playing football this year.
So those are canceled.
So, well, are they? I mean, I don't know. Those are the questions that they're working on right now. We love that location.
For selfish reasons. Now, Chris, just so you guys know, Chris just dropped this on me.
Yeah.
That's not fair. We had food. It was a 15-minute drive. We set up our equipment one time, and we were done.
Yes.
And now this.
Well, nothing,
you know what?
Nothing's official, but
I'm calling Donald.
Nothing's official. The Duck?
I'm going to call the Duck. Say, can you fix this?
But, so, I mean,
wow.
All the games be at one location? Will it be spread out? So it's, who knows?
Oh, boy. So, that changes things up a little bit.
So, and UCO is just one example. There's other colleges that aren't playing football either.
Well,
so
our colleges, are we going to get through a full season with the leagues that are still hanging in there right now?
There's an outside hope for Big Ten to come around. Not all 14 schools of Big Ten, but a few of those, I think.
Well, I know Nebraska, Iowa,
Ohio State. Those are
the three that
for
are
sure
really pushing.
Trying to get something there, but well, I think they're in the same situation. Although they just can't.
What I've always
get a game postponed and call somebody up and say, "Hey, let's play Saturday." You can't. It doesn't work.
What I've always said about this, and I'm not arguing that we shouldn't play. I'm just saying this has been my point.
Mm-hmm.
How do we tell students they have to virtually learn, meaning at universities I'm talking about here? You got to take online classes because it's too dangerous to come to class. But on Saturdays, we're going to take student body and let them go down and sweat and spit and bleed and everything else on each other to play a football game.
My counter to that is, and I think we've seen a little bit with the NBA, the bubble, if you will.
Yeah.
The colleges can get away with it a whole lot more than high school because they have money to get all these tests and test them daily. But I think to a point, you can't do it 100%, but you can protect them. You can bubble them a little bit, the football players.
And do temperatures.
And do temperature checks.
And make sure the people down there are safe. Yeah.
Or you're talking about, 100 football players compared to 30,000 students.
Sure.
And you keep them in certain areas where they can't get out. So that's the only thing. But, and that's the thing. When it first was all going, when Oklahoma City Public Schools says we are not going in school, we are going virtual, I was like, my first thought, just me being who I am, I thought, so I guess we're done with athletics.
Yeah.
That wasn't the case.
Yeah.
So
we both thought that.
Yeah. So in that case, when you hear, we'll still play athletics, my first thing is they were willing to take that on.
Right.
Because there's going to be the outcry there.
Well, because it's common sense. This is safe, but this isn't.
Right.
Where do you? But that's going on all over the place. We're picking what I would call winners and losers in this deal every day.
Mm-hmm.
All the stats that came out over the weekend. Of course, those that know me know I spend zero time verifying any of this.
It was by the CDC.
It was by the CDC that said of the actual deaths in the United States, stop me when I get this wrong, was under 10,000 that were purely from COVID.
Right.
And I think that when that was released, I think that changed a lot of people's opinions about COVID. Well, now, I'm not saying it's right or wrong. Sure. I'm just saying because we go from hundreds of all these, the death rate was much higher, and then when they throw that in there, you're going, oh, wait a second.
Yeah, there was a lot of projections that were way overblown, I thought, but we knew, I think not early on, but eventually as we kind of got into May, we understood that it was going to be those with underlying health conditions and the elderly, and now those numbers kind of back that up. They back that up. So,
but then that increases the volume for those that are saying, well, if you don't have an underlying health condition and you're not elderly,
right?
Why did the rest of us have to stop living?
And that's this deal has been, and it's a political year. I mean, obviously that plays into it. Probably.
There's no politics in this. Chris.
I'm breaking news here. I wish I was at home. I had my breaking news music there, but
we are getting a lot of people asking about the tree. Would you like to explain to the folks what happened to the tree?
Phil,
I burned the tree. Tree's dead.
Yeah, Phil, the tree is gone.
Had all the tree we ever needed. Yeah. It's all gone.
It's gone. We've got to move on the tree there. Of course, we're here on Hot 93.7 FM KSBI. If you even want to dare to take the video chance of this deal, we're at Facebook.com/Guthrie news page. It'll later be uploaded to our YouTube page and later on our podcast page as well. I promise we are definitely going to talk some high school football. There were some great games last week. There are some great games this week. In fact, we'll take a look at the Oklahoma's top 10, take a look at those. Phil and I will have our score projection, all that good stuff.
I won last year.
Yeah. What?
Well, that's what I'm telling everybody.
Okay. But
4 years in a row.
We'll definitely talk about the Guthrie Blue Jays. Impressive win over Shawnee, 34-16. Crescent, half their roster, Phil, is freshmen. They go over to Hennessy and win that game, and they might go 2-0. Cashin is back this year, Phil. The numbers are there. I think they're now juniors. Of course, did their state championship games. Just fell short. It's just
again, and that team was loaded.
Well, most of them are back too. So for Coach Shackleford, and
he's got to get one, doesn't he?
Oh man, even Stillwater Pioneers. They open up the season this week. A good game there. A lot of new faces. They got one big face coming back.
I think his name's Walker.
Walker, yes.
Pretty big face. Yeah.
Well, there's a whole bunch of stuff to get into that we'll do after this opening timeout. And before we do that, I want to give a big thank you to our title sponsor this year, Generations Church here in Guthrie, 2524 West Noble, and their phone number 282-6848. And Josh Seabolt and that crew out there do a great job, and not only on church nights, but they do a great job of bringing people, having events out there, and we watched Josh on some podcasts, and just a great guy. Yeah.
Well, Josh is a first-rate guy. His whole family's incredible. They're doing great things at Generations Church, and just helping people. I mean, I think that's the thing that comes through with Josh is he has a servant's heart.
Right.
He just wants to help somebody. He's not looking for anything in the process.
Right.
He just wants to help. And we're lucky to have folks like Josh in our community. So we appreciate Josh being a sponsor for us. But beyond that, we just appreciate him being a friend and a member in our community. So it's big time.
Absolutely. Generations Church, our title sponsor here on the High School Huddle here in 2020. GenerationsGuthrie.com is the website. We got other great sponsors as well, and we'll hear from them now as we take a time out. This is the High School Huddle on 93.7 FM KSBI.
At Generations Church, we exist to love God, love people, and serve both well. We're a multi-generational, multicultural church that believes in being a light to our city and our region. At Generations, we don't believe that church can be put in a box. We're a church that accepts all people from all walks of life, young, old, rich, and poor, and you will feel welcome at Generations. Join us at 10 a.m. every Sunday at 2524 West Noble in Guthrie, America. You can also join us at generationsguthrie.online.church.
Today I'm sharing Golden Chick with the world. Are you ready to taste Golden Chick for the first time? 100% tenderloin, that's where the golden tenders come from, marinated for 24 hours. It is amazing. Then we also got the rolls, made You know why it feels that way? Regular guy, one taste, and you're golden. He's on Tender. That's like a chicken dating app.
Sometimes you need immediate care and can't get in to see your doctor during regular hours. With Mercy Convenient Care in Guthrie, you can walk in without an appointment and get the medical attention you need at a lower cost and with shorter waiting time than your local emergency room. The Mercy Convenient Care is located at 2919 South Division. For any concerns, call 405-282-63. And achievements across Oklahoma. Aspen Roofing takes pride in the personal service we provide on each job, and we strive to maintain the highest level of quality while offering our customers a reasonable price. It is our commitment to help you understand the process of getting a new roof from start to finish. Call Robbie Hudson for a free roofing estimate at 405-562-0026.
Exxon was founded by two combat-proven veterans to help businesses grow from mediocre to exceptional. We know from experience that your culture and trust throughout the organization drive superior performance. Most business owners focus on the urgent rather than the important. They are just struggling to survive. The team at Exxon helps owners identify challenges, build solutions, and focus on growth. Do you trust your team? Does your team trust you? If not, we can help. We are Exxon.
Hey, you in the third row. Yes, you. When was your last dental checkup? Dr. Lewis Turney and his staff provide dental care in a fun, relaxing environment. Still not convinced? Prefer to sleep through your appointment? No problem. We can do that too. Our staff can ensure you have a relaxing experience no matter what. Got kids? Hey, so do we. Come see what all the moms are talking about. Our kid-friendly staff loves to provide care to even the tiniest of teeth. Give us a call today. We've got the whole family covered.
Give Dr. Lewis Turney a call at 282-7600.
For centuries, it was a windswept prairie until the run of '89 saw settlers scramble for land and life in a newborn town as Oklahoma's territorial capital, Guthrie. Bank First is loyal to the preservation movement that reclaimed Oklahoma's first state capital. And we're loyal to the banking legacy born at the corner of First and Oklahoma streets. Bank First. Loyal to Oklahoma. Loyal to you.
Welcome back to the High School Huddle. Join the huddle yourself and let us know your thoughts by calling our toll-free number at 1-800-897-3678 or simply tweet us by using the hashtag OKHSHuddle. Now let's get back in the huddle and talk high school sports.
Welcome back to High School Huddle, segment number 2.
A lot of music.
A lot of music. Title sponsor, Generations Church, generationsguthrie.com. And, boy, there was some good games last week. And, Phil, this is the 7th season for 6A2 to play football this year.
Is that right?
Is it 7 years? 2014. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is the 7th season for 6A2 football. Seems like we were just talking about the new division.
Seems like I was just criticizing it yesterday.
Yeah, of course.
Now, I've been won over by it, but first few years were a little rough for Phil.
Of course, we all know Bixby has won all but one state championship in 6A2. Who is the one school outside of Bixby to win a 6A2 state championship?
Are you asking me?
I'm asking you.
Oh, boy. I know there's going to be a test. I know this, though. I do know this.
I'll give you
Booker T?
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
2017.
Yeah, Booker T. That was the fluctuation. 5A, 6A2,
Yeah.
5A, 6A2.
Right.
There's still 6A2, right?
Yes.
If you're from Guthrie, you want to keep them up there.
Yes.
Keep them up there.
Or if you're Carl Albert. It doesn't matter if it's Carl Albert.
Well,
we'll get to those Titans here in a minute. But, yeah.
They're really struggling over there.
Yeah, they'll get by, I'm sure, this year. Yeah. So 6 state championships, 5 have been won by Bixby.
Yep.
And after last week's performance over Tulsa Union, 34-0. I think
What's happened to you?
I think Bixby. Well, Union's down a little. Down. I mean,
they're down for them.
For them, right? Right.
And so's Jinx for them. They've lost more games. Those two schools have lost more games the last 3 years than they did in the previous 15.
Yeah.
I mean, it was crazy.
The Owasso Broken Arrow has caught up to the Union Jinx thing a little bit, so it's a little bit more.
And I'm the one that caused all that.
There you go. Because you picked Owasso a couple years ago.
When everybody laughed at Phil, everybody mocked him. You remember that, Chris?
Are you talking about a couple of years ago or forever?
When they won the state title? No, we're not talking about normal. We're just talking about football predictions.
Football. Okay, all right.
But everybody mocked me, and I called it before. I called it preseason. Remember that?
Yes.
It still hurts, Chris, to admit that, but.
Well, you're 1 out of 50, and you're going to hang on to this one.
It doesn't matter. I'm like a good cornerback. I get burnt. I just line back up and. Nothing to see here.
That Nichols Island. You got
nothing to
stay
see
there.
here.
Yeah.
Nothing to see here.
But, Bixby takes down Union 34-0. Of course, the Williams at quarterback, Presley the running back, and, boy, they are so good. And we saw with our own eyes, and it wasn't just us. We kind of knew, but after we got to see it, you said, they can win 6A1 last year, and they would be up there in 6A1, obviously, again this year.
Well, I felt bad for the Stillwater team the last 2 years because any other years, I think those teams win state championships.
Yep.
I mean, they were extremely good football teams, and it's just, it's timing. I mean, you can look at teams like, here locally, Guthrie's had 4 state championship teams. Probably could have won a couple more.
Yeah.
Ball bounces one way or the other. You get a break here or there. Probably could have won a couple more. Mm-hmm. But out of those 4, you look at them and you say, well, this team that won a state title would have gotten beat by 4 touchdowns by this team that won a state title, and this team that won a state. You know what I mean?
Right.
And it's not. It's so much as about, obviously what do the other teams look like,
mm-hmm.
and in 6A2, you basically had Stillwater and Bixby. Everybody saw that collision course happening from day one.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
everyone was wanting it too.
Yeah, and they were head and shoulders. They were head and shoulders better than everybody else in 6A2. But yeah, it's in 6A1, like you said, it's really it's evolved. I mean, now it's all about Owasso. It's all about Broken Arrows. Really came in.
A Jinx or Union team hasn't won the state championship in the last 3 seasons.
And before that, no other team had won it in the previous, how many, 20?
Since 1995, Midwest City.
So, come on. It's obvious, the change. And it does beg the question, why? It just does.
Absolutely. And we totally expect Bixby to be in that championship game against this year. The question is, who will they be against, or who they should be as we project. But Stillwater has an opportunity to be there once again. Obviously, got to break in a new quarterback, and they do have that top running back as well as some other big names on that Pioneer team.
Yeah, they do, and it's of course the Stillwater replacing Stillwater. What they're replacing with Gunner. What's his dad coaches somewhere?
Yeah, his dad's a coach. His uncle's a football coach.
Another uncle's a pretty good wrestling coach.
I'm gonna let you go with this a little bit here.
Oh boy, Gunner Gundy.
There you go. Yeah.
But Mr. OAN. But But it's, Gunner is, I think, setting a year out, right, from college, training, getting ready. Then he's going to enroll at O State next season, I believe is how it is. But that he's a very, very good football player. We saw that firsthand and really a competitor. And there was a lot of great kids there. But, you got to replace those kids in high school ball and just keep moving forward. So we'll see what happens.
There's another kid. I'm drawing a blank on his name. Contrell Walker and –
You talking about for Stillwater?
Yeah, Tevin Williams.
Well, is it number 20 or 22? Did he play defense?
Yes.
And wasn't his dad?
Yes.
He was on the staff at OSU.
I'm drawing a blank on his name.
Oh, it's your turn now.
Yeah.
Okay,
what is it, Phil? Help me out.
I don't know. I gave you the number. What do you want?
We'll get to that here in a little bit. But dadgone it. What is? That's going to drive me crazy. I'll find it here in a second. But Stillwater has a chance there. I think Del City will have a chance there. I don't know if Muskoge's quite there yet. Of course, anything can happen in the playoffs, but Muskogee had a great game last week taking on Bishop McGuinness. Of course, Bishop McGuinness had they introduced their seniors because nothing is guaranteed the rest of the season, so you better get it in when you can.
Wow.
I think Guthrie's going to bump theirs up against Piedmont. I can't remember what week that is.
To make sure. 4? Do we have Piedmont? Is that first
I think that would
game?
be right. I think that's right. But
so.
You got all the tough questions here, Phil.
Well, I mean, it's been a tough year, Chris.
Absolutely. Booker T. Washington is always in there. So
yep.
We'll see how 6A2 pans out. But right now, Bixby, boy.
I'll just go ahead and say it. Nobody's beating Bixby this year.
And Bixby plays Jinx this week. We'll talk about that game here in our final segment. They have a chance. They will definitely –
they're good.
They are so talented.
And they're sitting right on that 17th slot, right?
Yes.
I mean, they're the largest school in 6A2, and they were the largest school last year in 6A2.
Yep.
They'll probably be the largest school next year in 6A2.
Definitely the next 2 years.
Yeah, for the next 2 years. But I think with this team, it doesn't matter. They could go up to 6A1, and they're going to be one of the favorites to win it. It doesn't. I mean, that program's on fire right now.
Well, and you look at 6A1, we won't go too deep because we won't get to some other stuff there. But, again, Owasso, Union, Jinx, Broken Arrow up there. Who's the team going to come from the west side? And it's always a team here and there that can make some noise. And
sometimes Edmond Santa Fe, sometimes Mustang, sometimes a Norman school.
Norman North,
yeah.
So we'll see how 6A1 plays out. But I want to get to that McGuinness game against Muskogee. That was a good game. Luke Tarman, the quarterback for Bishop McGuinness,
Mr. Everything.
They do, and it's even more so this year. Yeah. He's going to be he's a good player for them, but did have to miss the fourth quarter though in that Muskogee game. And do note the Muskogee stud quarterback and defensive player did not play in that game. He's committed to Oklahoma State University, and but Tarman did not play in the fourth quarter. But luckily, the Piedmont transfer graduated, but now we have a Millwood transfer to take over for quarterback when he comes in. So he's a good athlete, receiver, plays defense, and then when Tarman goes down, he plays quarterback as well. So
yeah, and I haven't seen the young man. I just have you and I visited a little bit about it, and I know T-Fred's watching tonight. Maybe he can give us some insight to this young man, but. Sounds like a heck of an athlete who's got the opportunity to be a really special player before he gets out of McGuinness. So we'll see what happens. They always seem to have one or two that show up.
Well, and, McGuinness got a Guthrie transfer on the girls' basketball team. Got a boys transfer from Guthrie on the boys' basketball team. So they keep running commercials on radio stations. They're going to be in Class 8A if they keep running those fancy commercials. So, but Luke Tarman, a good one. They take down Muskogee 20-13. Tarman finished with 21 carries, 213 yards, 2 touchdowns, completed 8 of 15 passes for 92 yards and a score. But and that's,
did all that in 3 quarters.
Yeah, sophomore Michael Taffy, who played quarterback at Millwood last year, filled in. So.
That's funny. I just noticed something on the screen. You look bigger than me on the screen.
Well, I've been working out. And
I'm not saying it looks good. I'm just saying you look bigger than me.
Oh.
I like that. Maybe it's the angle.
Maybe it's the angle. I'm straight on. You're sideways.
Well, that's accurate in a lot of things.
I spent all that time bragging on Bishop McGuinness for the in 5A, which leads us right into the Carl Albert Titans.
Yeah.
They have won 4 state championships in a row. There's only a handful of teams that have won at least 4. Carl Albert, Shattuck, Jinx, and Morrison.
Yeah, pretty good company.
Pretty good company. And yes, the quarterback is back, Ben Harris. Yes, the running back.
22 years.
Yeah, he's been there for 22 years.
Yeah.
Coach Corley, obviously back. Corley, the head coach, a longtime defense coordinator.
Lost one game.
And Ben Harris have lost one game.
One game.
On the road at Piedmont.
Which was a fluke. We all know that now.
It came back, yeah.
Which was a fluke.
Yes.
We saw it. I mean, listen, they lined up and beat him. Anybody from Piedmont's listening, I tip my hat to you. You lined up and won
Coach
that
Jeff
game.
Hall watches the broadcast.
He does,
yes.
and he did a fabulous job
Absolutely.
last year. I'm not taking any, but we all know if they played 100 times, I think they got the one W they would have gotten. And again, no shame in that. They're the only ones who figured out a way to beat them one time. They should be proud of that.
Absolutely.
But man, that Carl Albert team is loaded. I mean, absolutely loaded.
Yeah, and they got the Hunt kid back as well, and so just Harrison and Hunt in the backfield is almost enough.
But they always have.
Yeah,
we've watched them.
Last year they had more than normal.
It was just
college athletes.
I mean, we're sitting up here in the pregame watching these guys warm up, and we're going, look at 24. You think 24? Look at 26. What about? Oh gosh, look at 8.
Yeah.
What about 7? What's 7 do? Well, here's 6 over here. And we haven't even gotten to the big uglies up front, and they're impressive up there. And then you start doing a little research, just start looking at them, like really trying to figure out who they are. They had so many kids that are college-level players at a 5A school. It's just amazing. And Coach Corley has them all, singing right now. I mean, they're just humming down the road. So, and you know what's going to happen when Hunt and Harris are gone?
Someone's going to come in and fill their shoes.
Somebody will fill their shoes, and they'll just keep right on going. Those boys are bad boys.
That's a good George Jones song.
It's a good one. But to his point, nobody has filled their shoes. George's. I'm not into this whole
new stuff. Country.
What do you call it? That's not country.
Well, I tell you, I saw on social media Sam Hunt, I guess he's a new country singer, did the remake of Garth Brooks' 1991 song.
Did he have Garth's permission?
I'm sure he did.
Garth said, yeah.
Well, it's on Facebook, so it's official.
We'll make millions.
Yeah.
More.
Yeah. That's like.
Have you watched that Garth Brooks documentary?
I'm sure. Yeah.
The one where it goes over his whole life and when he went.
Absolutely. Yeah.
That's amazing.
It's good stuff.
It really is. I knew he had went to Nashville and then came home soon. I didn't know it was for 12 hours and he came home.
Yeah, it's good.
That was an amazing document. Now Garth's he's a little different.
Yeah,
he's a little different.
he turns it on when the cameras are on. Yeah.
Sitting out by the bonfire by himself and got his coveralls on.
The way he talks and he's
so dramatic about everything.
Yes.
And cried like 17 times.
Yeah.
Which that's okay.
Sure.
I'm a bit of a crier myself.
Yeah.
I just don't cry when I'm talking about a fifth wheeler or something.
Right.
I mean, he just gets emotional about everything. But saying all that, he's also the only guy I think that's ever had over 1 million people come to a concert.
He's
so he's pretty good at what he does.
Absolutely. By the way, Carl Albert, great non-district, Midwest City, Del City, and Shawnee.
Yeah.
We'll talk a little bit more about Carl Albert and Midwest City. Midwest City has not been able to take down the Titans, I think, in the last 4 years, along with everybody else.
Ain't gonna happen this
yeah,
year.
so we'll talk about that here in a little bit as well. Need to take another timeout here. And we didn't even get to El Reno and Piedmont. They're playing this week. We can talk about them in a little bit.
Good
But
ball game.
Plumlee and the Indians needed overtime last week to take down Cash 42-35. And I need to look at it, but I think El Reno got up 35-0.
Yeah.
And I think Plumlee had an injury or somewhere in there, and Cash puts 35 on the board, and it goes in overtime, but El Reno wins it there. But El Reno, this is their big shot here this season with Plumlee as we try to see who the Carl Albert Titans will play in the state championship game. So we know Bixby's in 6A2, and we know –
Carl Albert's going to the finals.
Carl going to the finals. So
no, wait. Carl Albert's winning 5A. We're not even going to make – there's no drama to this. There's no debating it.
Right.
You heard it here first. Carl Albert's winning another state.
So we don't have to wait to segment 3 to break that
No.
one down.
No. Carl Albert's winning 5A.
Yeah, they're good. They're good. All right, we need to take a time out. When we come back, we'll break down some other big games this coming week, and we might even dive into some of the other classes as well. Take a time out. This is a High School Huddle presented by Generations Church here on Hot 93.7 FM. KSBI.
Aspen Roofing is a family-owned roofing company with more than 20 years of experience and achievements across Oklahoma. Aspen Roofing takes pride in the personal service we provide on each job, and we strive to maintain the highest level of quality while offering our customers a reasonable price. It is our commitment to help you understand the process of getting a new roof from start to finish. Call Robbie Hudson for a free roofing estimate at 405-562-0026.
Exxon was founded by two combat-proven veterans to help businesses grow from mediocre to exceptional. We know from experience that your culture and trust throughout the organization drive superior performance. Most business owners focus on the urgent rather than the important. They are just struggling to survive. The team at Exxon helps owners identify challenges, build solutions, and focus on growth. Do you trust your team? Does your team trust you? If not, we can help. We are Exxon.
Hey, you in the third row. Yes, you. When was your last dental checkup? Dr. Louis Turney and his staff provide dental care in a fun, relaxing environment. Still not convinced? Prefer to sleep through your appointment? No problem. We can do that too. Our staff can ensure you have a relaxing experience no matter what. Got kids? Hey, so do we. Come see what all the moms are talking about. Our kid-friendly staff loves to provide care to even the tiniest of teeth. Give us a call today. We've got the whole family covered.
Give Dr. Louis Turney a call at 282-7600.
For centuries, it was a windswept prairie until the run of '89 saw settlers scramble for land and life in a newborn town as Oklahoma's territorial capital, Guthrie. Bank First is loyal to the preservation movement that reclaimed Oklahoma's first state capital. And we're loyal to the banking legacy born at the corner of First and Oklahoma Streets. Bank First. Loyal to Oklahoma. Loyal to you.
Today I'm sharing Golden Chick with the world. Are you ready to taste Golden Chick for the first time? 100% tenderloin, that's where the golden tenders come from, marinated for 24 hours. It is amazing. Then we also got the rolls, made fresh.
It feels like they were just baked.
You know why it feels that way? They were.
Every time I go, I love to get extra rolls, so I love it.
Mm-hmm. We're being kind of photobombed right now by the one and only Clucky. Have you met Clucky the chicken? Don't get too starstruck. He's just a regular guy. One taste, and you're golden. He's on Tender. That's like a chicken dating app.
Sometimes you need immediate care and can't get in to see your doctor during regular hours. With Mercy Convenient Care in Guthrie, you can walk in without an appointment and get the medical attention you need at a lower cost and with shorter waiting time than your local emergency room. The Mercy Convenient Care is located at 2919 South Division. For any concerns, call 405-282-6301. Services are provided by Mercy Hospital, Logan County. Choose Guthrie. Choose Mercy.
At Generations Church, we exist to love God, love people, and serve both well. We're a multi-generational, multicultural church that believes in being a light to our city and our region. At Generations, we don't believe that church can be put in a box. We're a church that accepts all people from all walks of life, young, old, rich, and poor, and you will feel welcome at Generations. Join us at 10 a.m. every Sunday at 2524 West Noble in Guthrie, America. You can also join us at generationsguthrie.online.church.
Welcome back to the High School Huddle. Join the huddle yourself and let us know your thoughts by calling our toll-free number at 1-800-897-3678 or simply tweet us by using the hashtag OKHSHuddle. Now let's get back in the huddle and talk high school sports.
With Jordan Leach in our Stillwater studio, Mustang Bronco, Phil Nichols, Chris Evans with you. High School Huddle. Homecoming Queen. Paddle Girl. High School Huddle. Presented by Generations Church, 2524 West Noble Avenue here in Guthrie. Got a great kids program, G Kids out there, and great church services and all that good stuff. But also you can find them on Facebook. But they do a lot of community stuff, a lot of food drives out there, and churches have really taken on a whole lot during this deal. And I tell you that Generations Church is one of them. But the preachers coming together on all these communities. It's a mean world out there right now, especially on the social medias. Holy cow,
it's ugly.
It is. But they've done a great job of coming together on various things. So Appreciate all of our preachers. And we're not just talking about Guthrie, Logan County, but everywhere throughout the United States, as it's a crazy world right now, Philip.
It is. I know we're moving on to 4A, but I know we got a lot of local folks in Guthrie that are listening, but
yeah,
I will tell you this. It's one of the first years Guthrie started the preseason outside of the top 10.
Mm-hmm. Didn't make the playoffs for the first time since 2004 last year.
But after watching the young Blue Jays play last Friday, I think they're going to start chipping back away very quickly because there's a lot of youngsters on that team and some very good upperclassmen. Josh Raines had a great ball game last week.
Caden Ballard-Stevenson
played well. We've got some upperclassmen linemen that did a great job and many others. But that sophomore class in particular really stands out. I mean, there's several really good young sophomores out there that are going to be special before it's all said and done. So I think things are on the upward swing for the Jays.
Yeah, and Guthrie looked well. Shawnee's, they were 2-8 last year, but they were in 6A2.
Yep.
To move down to 5A will help them. They got to get past their non-district schedule of Guthrie, Ardmore, and Carl Albert.
Yeah.
Once they get into the district play over in that 5A3, I think that they'll be a lot more competitive. But Shawnee down maybe they weren't quite where I thought they would be last Friday, but a lot of credit. That's not to take away from Guthrie because they made a lot of plays, especially defensively. I mean, they got some guys up front. They got some guys on the edge. They got a pretty speedy backfield, defensive backfield. So, Guthrie's going to play defense. And so, the offense was a question mark last year. Struggled at times, but they look good in the scrimmage and in the game.
Yes, and we got to give a shout out to Jake Hayes, who stepped in. Jason Rice, the offensive coordinator, had some family stuff, medical stuff, and it turned out great with a family member of his. Jason's fine, and his and me, but had some stuff there, and I thought Jake Hayes did a tremendous job of stepping in and play calling, and he's got a great demeanor on the sidelines. Another one of those young guns, those young coaches that's really coming along. So I think the future's bright there, and the thing that really stood out for me, conditioning, man. Those kids were in good shape. Our Blue Jays, you could tell they worked hard.
Yep.
You could tell they worked hard.
Guthrie's at Pump City West. That would be the first time that Guthrie and PC West have ever played football. Yep. PC West down right now 0-10 a year ago, 1-9 the last couple of years before that. I think they've won maybe 16 games in the last 7 seasons. So Guthrie will be a favorite on the road. And so if everything goes like we think they'd be 2-0. Then you got Duncan inside the Rock for homecoming, and that would be Guthrie Duncan will be another fun game. It's always good game between Guthrie and Duncan, whether it's regular season or postseason. But that'll be a fun game here in a couple weeks in Guthrie.
Boy, it'd be awful good for the Jays to get off to a 3-0 start and going in district play with these young kids, give them a lot of confidence. Yeah,
because the district is tough once again with Carl Albert, McGinnis, Piedmont. Piedmont graduates a lot of people from a year ago, but I think now they're the 6th largest class in Class 5A. So they'll just the numbers will always be there now from here on out. Piedmont remember Piedmont and Deer Creek was the little farm towns there for a little, but the numbers are there for Piedmont to stay competitive all the time. Yeah. And so I think Guthrie, Piedmont, Woodward are the 3 teams fighting for the 2 spots, just like it was last year. Woodward beat Guthrie. Woodward got in the playoffs.
Yeah, and I think, based again what we saw Friday, if we're able to get the season in, I think these kids from Guthrie will find themselves back in the playoffs this year.
Absolutely. Class 4A football, and we got to see it last year, Phil. Poto up close. Poto winning the state championship. But 4A is such a fun class to follow just because true communities, usually when you talk about Wagner, Weatherford, Poto, Tuttle, Blanchard, Cash, you got to throw Cash in this year. Almost took down El Reno last week, but Bethany, Ada, and so 4A is always a fun class to watch. They travel well week in and week out. Their fans do. So, again, Poto, you look at the last few state championships, they've been different. Poto, the year before that in 2018, Tuttle, Heritage Hall was there in 2017 to break up the Wagner streak of state championships from 14 to 2016. Wagner, another favorite, one of the favorites in 4A football. It's always fun.
Well, yeah, they're a great football program. Of course, Weatherford, was right there last year. And Poto, as you talk, Tuttle, Blanchard, Cash. There's just so many good football teams in 4A. We've talked about this top to bottom, and I'm going to make some 5A people mad here, but top to bottom, if you look at the top 10 or 15 teams in 4A and 5A, I think 4A is stronger than 5A.
Throughout
this, from top to bottom.
Just Carl Albert's at the top.
Yeah. You got 3 or 4 that are right there, but there is much more. There's many more teams that are high-quality football teams, in my opinion, in 4A than what you see in 5A.
And we saw Weatherford last year. We got to see Ethan Downs for his head coach.
He's pretty good.
He's pretty good. Yeah. He's. I think he's committed to the University of Oklahoma.
Big tight end.
Weatherford's, of course, led by former Guthrie quarterback Reagan Roof, but Weatherford's got a great schedule as well with Kingfisher, El Reno, and Woodward in the non-district before getting into that 4A district schedule. So 3A, again, you got Heritage Hall and Lincoln Christian up there, the 2 big schools there.
Perkins-Tryon, we talked earlier, they're ranked 4th in the preseason rankings, but they're not going to play the first 2 games.
I know.
And, that's killing because that Perkins, they have really became a football town.
Absolutely.
I mean, it's big. It's important to the community. It's important to everybody over there, and they've had so much success, but you're just sitting over there cooling your heels right now, right?
Yeah, Kingfisher went on the road, another 3A school. Kingfisher went on the road, took it to the Alva Goldbugs pretty handily last week. Sternberger, quarterback, of course. One Sternberger is with the Green Bay Packers. Another Sternberger is playing college basketball at Rogers State. Now
they're pretty good.
Then you got another Sternberger playing quarterback.
Pretty good athlete.
And so I remember watching the OSSAA meeting this summer. They were talking about, do we go through the summer protocols? Do we put in regular, all that good stuff? And on the OSSA board of directors is Mr. Sternberger.
Yeah.
And he was like
the man responsible for all this.
He's like, we're playing football. I mean, he didn't put it that blunt, but
you could tell all this.
You could tell where he leaned a little bit.
Of course, the one kid didn't he finish up at A&M? Isn't that right?
Yeah.
It was an All-American, I believe, there.
Mm-hmm.
But went to NEO. I think he was through NEO, wasn't he? Didn't he go
I can't remember.
NEO and then up? I believe that's right because I think he was at NEO when Pruitt, my son, was at NEO. So it's going to be an interesting thing. And Kingfisher is one of those perennial top 5, 6 programs, in 3A every year. So they've always got talent.
2A football. We saw last year. We got to see the Wright kid. In the finals, but Metro Christian came away with that. Metro Christian, I can't remember I'll see if I can look up here, but they had the quarterback. Yeah, I don't know if he's back this year or not.
No.
No, he got offered.
That's right.
He got offered
that day
from UCO. I don't know if he had a few other offers.
I think he ended up either going there or Emporia State, but he was also a kid that I think had a lot of academy schools looking at him.
Yes.
And he was a freak. I think didn't he account for like 6 touchdowns?
Yeah, it was quite the game.
Stupid,
yeah.
But he reminded me of that kid when we did the Crescent State Championship game a few years back.
The Afton kid?
The Afton kid. What was his name? The quarterback. But that's what it reminded me.
Left-handed kid, yeah.
That's what it reminded me of. Of course, that kid, I believe, went on
Amos?
Amos. That's it. That's Amos.
Will Amos.
Yes. Great name. Famous Amos.
Will Amos.
But he went to Emporia State, I believe, is where the Amos kid ended up going. But, reminded me a lot of the Amos kid from Afton, who was just a superior athlete, competitor, smart, just, he checked all the boxes. So, really good stuff.
It'd be tough to replace him at quarterback to stay competitive in 2A when you got Beggs, Vian, Jones. I think Jones is not able to play this week. I think their game is getting moved to week 3, if I recall correctly. Let me see if I can look it up real quick. We got to get one more break in here. Yeah, the Jones at Tulsa Lincoln Christian has been moved to week 3.
Yeah.
I
just noticed the quarterback for Jones. How would you like to be playing 2A football? And you line up against Jones, and the starting quarterback, 6'5", 205 pounds.
When has Jones not have a quarterback?
Well, as long as I can remember,
they always have a quarterback. Yeah. Always. Yeah. All right, we need to get our final timeout in here. When we come back, we'll take a look at some of the top 10 games this week in the state of Oklahoma, try to make a few predictions as well. Take our final timeout. This is the High School Huddle presented by – I hope this commercial works.
I do too.
Let me look here. Audio.
It's going to be bad if it doesn't.
Audio, okay, I think it's going to work. Take a timeout. This is the High School Huddle presented by our title sponsor this year, Generations Church, here on Hot. Oh, yeah, we put the church in there, so it's got to work, right?
It's got to work.
Here on Hot 93.7 FM, KSPI.
At Generations Church, we exist to love God, love people, and serve both well. We're a multi-generational, multicultural church that believes in being a light to our city and our region. At Generations, we don't believe that church can be put in a box. We're a church that accepts all people from all walks of life, young, old, rich, and poor, and you will feel welcome at Generations. Join us at 10 a.m. every Sunday at 2524 West Noble in Guthrie, America. You can also join us at generationsguthrie.online.church.
Hey, you in the third row. Yes, you. When was your last dental checkup? Dr. Lewis Turney and his staff provide dental care in a fun, relaxing environment. Still not convinced? Prefer to sleep through your appointment? No problem. We can do that too. Our staff can ensure you have a relaxing experience no matter what. Got kids? Hey, so do we. Come see what all the moms are talking about. Our kid-friendly staff loves to provide care to even the tiniest of teeth. Give us a call today. We've got the whole family covered.
Give Dr. Lewis Turney a call at 282-7600.
For centuries, it was a windswept prairie until the run of '89 saw settlers scramble for land and life in a newborn town as Oklahoma's territorial capital, Guthrie. Bank First is loyal to the preservation movement that reclaimed Oklahoma's first state capital. And we're loyal to the banking legacy born at the corner of First and Oklahoma Streets. Bank First. Loyal to Oklahoma. Loyal to you.
Today I'm sharing Golden Chick with the world. Are you ready to taste Golden Chick for the first time? 100% tenderloin, that's where the golden tenders come from. Marinated for 24 hours. It is amazing. Then we also got the rolls, made fresh.
It feels like they were just baked.
You know why it feels that way? They were.
Every time I go, I love to get extra rolls, so I love it.
Mm-hmm. We are being kind of photobombed right now by the one and only Clucky. Have you met Clucky the chicken? Don't get too starstruck. He's just a regular guy. One taste, and you're golden. He's on Tender. That's like a chicken dating app.
Sometimes you need immediate care and can't get in to see your doctor during regular hours. With Mercy Convenient Care in Guthrie, you can walk in without an appointment and get the medical attention you need at a lower cost and with shorter waiting time than your local emergency room. The Mercy Convenient Care is located at 2919 South Division. For any concerns, call 405-282-6301. Services are provided by Mercy Hospital, Logan County. Choose Guthrie. Choose Mercy. Aspen Roofing is a family-owned roofing company with more than 20 years of experience and achievements across Oklahoma. Aspen Roofing takes pride in the personal service we provide on each job, and we strive to maintain the highest level of quality while offering our customers a reasonable price. It is our commitment to help you understand the process of getting a new roof from start to finish. Call Robbie Hudson for a free roofing estimate at 405-562-0026.
Exxon was founded by two combat-proven veterans to help businesses grow from mediocre to exceptional. We know from experience that your culture and trust throughout the organization drive superior performance. Most business owners focus on the urgent rather than the important. They are just struggling to survive. The team at Exxon helps owners identify challenges, build solutions, and focus on growth. Do you trust your team? Does your team trust you? If not, we can help. We are Exxon.
Welcome back to the High School Huddle. Join the huddle yourself and let us know your thoughts by calling our toll-free number at 1-800-897-3678 or simply tweet us by using the hashtag OKHSHuddle. Now let's get back in the huddle and talk high school sports.
Final segment here on the High School Huddle, brought to you by our good friends over at Generations Church. Again, 2524 West Noble in Guthrie, America. Josh Seabolt and the crew. Title sponsor here in the 2020 high school football season. Phil watching some game film on the phone.
Always preparing.
Always preparing.
Always preparing.
Never know what's going to happen.
Nope, sure don't.
Real quick, before we get ahead, we're going to talk some of the big games this week, but don't want to forget about our good friends over there in Class A football. Another game we got the call last year in the state championship game. Ringling took down Cashion, and it wouldn't be too surprising if those two teams were back in the finals again this year, but this Class A is so competitive. Ringling, state champions, and then before that was Tonkawa, Afton, Hominy, Stratford, Thomas, Hollis. I mean, you have to go all the way back to 2009 to find another team that had won it. Tonkawa won in 2018 and Tonkawa in 2009.
Wow.
No, I take that back. Ringling 2012 and 2019, but to the point, it is competitive year in and year out.
Year in and year out. And, of course, Ringling, they had a lot.
And that doesn't count cashing in any of these state championships.
I know. It's crazy. But I think this is probably going to be cashing if they stay healthy.
Yeah.
And if we get to the playoffs.
If we get there, yes.
And if we get to have state championship games. But because Ringling did graduate a lot of studs last year.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, a lot of studs. Now, they still have a lot of studs coming back, but I mean, they graduated some kids.
Well, let's take a look at some of the big games in the state of Oklahoma. And, of course, a reminder, Guthrie Blue Jays are Putnam City West. You can hear that game right here on 93.7 FM KSBI. Our pregame show begins at 6:30, and the kickoff is at 7 o'clock. Never been to an athletic event at Putnam City West. I've been to a lot of places.
I don't even know where Putnam City West is.
Bethany, Oklahoma.
That's over near special restaurant of a friend of ours.
Oh, yeah. On the go, try that place. Yeah. Mustang at Yukon, Phil. This is the season opener for both teams. Again, this is a Saturday night game, or Saturday 6 o'clock game.
Yeah.
There's a lot of back and forth this week with Mustang Yukon. Too much, not enough time to get into that. But Mustang is at Yukon. Of course, Yukon. Flexbone offense. You also have Piedmont with the Flexbone offense. So Mustang probably maybe a favorite there, but you never know with that Flexbone.
Yeah, you never know. But I think I'm going to go with Mustang for the win. I think they're going to have more talent, I think, than UConn does. But you're right. Flexbone is definitely a wild card there.
Mustang has won 5 of the last 6 meetings. We talked about it a little bit earlier. Midwest City, the Bombers, 1-0 as Carl Upper opens up the season inside Gary Rose field. Midwest City coming off a come-from-behind win over Westmore. And Midwest City has not won against Carl Albert since 2015. Midwest City, a proud program, as Carl Albert hasn't played a game yet. Midwest City's already got 4 quarters underneath their belt.
Right.
So,
no, that's important. Unfortunately, they're not going to beat Carl Albert. So they're getting ready to lose 6 in a row to Carl Albert.
Wow. You didn't even think about it.
Don't have to.
All right. Up in the eastern part of the state, Tulsa Union with that. They're looking for their first touchdown of the year. Bixby shut them out last week. 34-0. Bixby's going to shut a lot of people out. But Broken Arrow won their game last week. And so, Phil, Broken Arrow Union?
Broken Arrow with the W.
Yeah, it's you never know. But
Union going to start the year 0-2.
Wow. Adair 1-0. They are at Stigler this week, and that is the both teams were able to play last week. Got the victory over there. Adair 46 points in their season opener. So we'll see what they do this week against the Stigler defense. Eufaula, mascot for Eufaula?
Eufaula Ukrainians.
Close. The Ironheads. You almost had,
okay.
Yeah, Nick Jones back at quarterback. Noah Alexander running the football. But we saw last year Vian's defense is pretty good. So this is a great week 1 football game.
Yeah, no doubt.
That is, again, Eufaula at Vian. Edmond Santa Fe at Stillwater. Edmond Santa Fe, the team on the west that can potentially make the most noise in 6A1 football when you talk about Union, Owasso, Arrow, Jinx, all them stuff. We'll see. This is a great game for Stillwater for their coming off of victory last week. But Edmond Santa Fe, Stillwater, good game.
Good game. I think Stillwater's going to get the W. Of course, I believe we have another. Do we have another Gundy at quarterback this year?
I don't know if he's starting. I know there is one on there.
Yeah, but I didn't know if he got the nod to be the starter this year or not. But I think Stillwater's got enough back from that great team last year, and very well coached over there, do a good job. So I'm gonna say the edge to Stillwater, but I think it'll be a tight ball game.
Yeah, Stillwater's got the defense. They got Quantrell Walker. Yeah. That's the most important thing there is Edmond Santa Fe lost to Owasso last week. We're going quick because we are in overtime now. Jones is at Tulsa Lincoln Christian. Both teams are 1-0 on the season. El Reno at Piedmont. That will be a fun game to see how that one goes out. El Reno, an overtime victory over Cash. Doran Plumley, a great quarterback. But and this is the first round game we had last year on the broadcast for the NFHS Network, and it was obviously Piedmont went on to win that game. But Plumley is the source for El Reno offense. So.
Yeah, and I think I'm going to give the nod to El Reno because of the Plumley kid. And Piedmont, of course, graduated so many kiddos. Just don't really know what they got going on.
Yeah, absolutely. Doran Plumley, he's a good one.
Yeah.
Heritage Hall is at Millwood. It is the season opener for both teams there. And that will be always an entertaining ball game. And then Jinx at Bixby. Jinx 1-0, took on Arkansas Ben Harbor, I think it was. Got the victory there at Bixby. Always a week 1 staple game between these two programs.
Great game. Jinx, of course, big tradition.
Sure.
Going to lose to Bixby, but great football team. They'll be there at the end of the year.
Mason Williams and Presley Kidd are pretty impressive for the Bixby Spartans.
And then, of course, on the Heritage Hall game against Millwood. Real quick, I know we got to go, but who do you have?
I will go Heritage Hall.
Yeah, out of principle, Millwood.
Well, the Millwood quarterback from a year ago transfers.
Don't care.
To Bishop McGinnis. So Millwood will have a new quarterback, so that doesn't help.
Doesn't help the cause, but I'm sticking to my guns.
All right, we'll do that. Well, this is the fastest hour. It's a fast
hour.
So big thank you to Jordan back in our Stillwater studio, as always, the MVP of the broadcast. And a big thank you to all of our sponsors up and down the list, including our title sponsor this year, Generations Church. Visit our good friends Josh Seabolt, and you go to their website, and that is generationsguthrie.com. That'll do it. For Jordan Leach, Phil Nichols, and I'm Chris Evans. We'll talk to you next week as we break down this week's games and look forward to week 2 of the high school football season. Thanks for tuning in. So long.
This has been the High School Huddle on Hot 93.7 FM. Be sure to tune in next week as we break down more of the top games and news from across the state of Oklahoma.